Hey guys, Brad here with another update on some work we've been doing. This is on Sinistar. So I've been working with SynaMax Max. Recently, a while ago, the source code for Sinistar was found, and he's been going through it and discovering all kinds of interesting things and talking to the developers and making some changes and doing quite a bit of work. And he's been doing most of it in MAME. I've got actual hardware here on my bench, so we've been kind of collaborating back and forth and bouncing things off each other. And he's doing all the heavy lifting in the actual coding, and I'm testing and asking for changes and that sort of stuff. So real quick here on the mod, you're going to see basically with the latest version red ROMs, you change out ROM 4, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and you'll get all the fixes. And then on the soundboard back here, it's just the 2532. Swap out, you put in the new code. When it's running, it's exact same code as the original game, but what he did is fix the sound test button, which I did demo in another video, but since I have the whole thing on the bench, we'll go over that. So what I'm going to show you is all the features that are added. I'm going to call them features. Again, the reason some of these things didn't go in the original build is because there just wasn't enough room, enough ROM space. So these ROMs are 2732s. They're 4K times 8, 32 K worth of space on each one, and there's 11 of them. So they had to get all the game code in there and everything they wanted, and they had to sacrifice some stuff at the end. So what we ended up doing, or Max ended up doing after we talked about it, is we ended up sacrificing some of the test screens. For instance, when it comes to testing the monitor and generating the color bars and the grid and all that, typically, guys in the repair hobby, we're using different TPG generators to test monitors, right? We're not reliant on the game to generate those. So we pulled out some of that code and some other stuff, and we're able to free up some space to add these changes that I'm going to show you. So you might have seen one there when it was booting. It was that AMOA Sinistar logo that's, it looks like it has blood dripping from it. It's pretty sweet. I'm not sure how to get back to it. Normally I see it on the boot there. We'll go in the diagnostics here real quick, and I'll just kind of go through and show you what we gave up. So we still have all the ROM tests, all the RAM tests were left intact. CMOS is still intact, and then basically at that point it jumps out and you go to your bookkeeping, and you still can set all your track messages and free play and everything else, and then you go back here to the normal track mode. So you'll see right now after this screen changes, we also, here's the AMOA Sinistar logo that he was able to add back. And then also on that high score table, that first high score on the bottom left, he's actually incrementing that to indicate the version number. So as he and I go back and forth and changes are made, we're able to keep track of what version we're on by doing that. So the first thing you saw there was that track logo. I'll point it up, give a little volume here, and we'll start a game. And you're going to see the next mod that's really cool. Ready? There it is. So it's got the jet plume, kind of like Defender. So apparently that was in the original game code, and they just didn't have enough space for it, so pulled it out, and he was able to get it back in there exactly as it was intended. So as you stop thrusting, you pull the joystick back the 49 way, it stops, and it's pretty colorful. It's pretty slick. The other mod that he made here that's pretty significant is he did adjust the difficulty on it a little bit. He worked again with the original developers and was able to set it so it's a little easier. Didn't really change it. It's still pretty difficult, but the gameplay is a little smoother. It has a better feel as you go through it. So that's the big one, is a difficulty mod. You got the thrust plume here, and then here's the other one that I really like. I can't remember the guy's name, but he did it for Joust and Robotron. It's a pause mode. So as I'm moving here and I hit player 1, paused, right? So this gives you the ability, primarily, we did 2 versions. He did one that has the pause and all the other features, and then one with all the other features minus the pause mode. And I thought we discussed it. So basically, if you have an actual arcade where customers are coming in playing, you probably don't want this because there's no way to code it to timeout or anything easily. So basically, it'll stay on the screen indefinitely, right? And you're going to end up burning your monitor or something like that. For home use, 5, 10, 15 minutes, it's not going to do any damage at all. If you have a phone call coming in, the wife wants you to take out the garbage, you need to use the restroom, something like that, where you're going to go on 5 or 10 minutes and you have a good game rolling. You just hit the player 1, boom, it's paused, and then when you come back, you just hit it again, and you're right back where you're at. So it's really, really cool. So those are the major enhancements. And again, a couple of the things you lose out of the test screen. Most people aren't going in there anyway. Most of the ones that are gone were for setting up the monitor. We did lose the input test screen, unfortunately. But again, if you needed to do that, you could just slap in your original, 5 ROMs and bring it right back to do that. So anyway, if anybody's interested in the code, we'll make it available. I'm probably also I'm gonna do reproduction labels on the ROMs, and then I'll be selling them as well, probably, if somebody wants them, because I have probably 1,000 2732s. So and I'll show you again the test mode here on the soundboard. So if we hit the test mode here, first it tests the analog chip, and then we go over and it tests all of the it'll just loop. So the nice thing about that test, and on almost all the Williams tests, is it's still gameplay. I'm gonna hit reset. The nice thing about the test mode is this board is basically its own computer. It's completely independent of the main board, which comes in these digital inputs from the ROM board on the others trigger this board, but it's got its own CPU and PIA and audio amplifier and EEPROM. Everything's on here. So if you're having sound issues, you can basically now hit this button, and if you get sound, then it's something on the main board not driving it, or a connection between the two. Or if you get nothing here, you pretty much know your problem's isolated to these boards. So it's a really great thing to have working. He also was able to fix it on bubbles as well. I made a separate video on that. So anyway, pretty cool stuff. Max, thanks. You did all the heavy lifting on this. And I think it's fantastic. So again, there's 2 versions available, one with and without the pause mode, but the other features are there. So enjoy.